on Sunday, we did not eat, you guys. It was the most ridiculous thing because we were under so much pressure to go to all these spots. So we decided, you know what, we need to come back to the World Trade Center during the day. So we left around 9, but we had an 11 a.m. reservation for Liberty Island. Boom, we get out at 9. We leave around 9. We drive. We're looking for parking. We're looking for street parking. We don't find any. We end up looping around and we end up just trying to park in a garage, and they try to charge us 60. But here's the city girl on me. City girl. Okay. This guy is like $60, and I was like, bruh, that's too much. He was like, you know what? I have a street parking spot where I'm parked, and I can give you that spot if you guys pay me like $30. And we gave him $30, and he let us park on his spot in the street, which was pretty cool. At least that we asked. And I know somebody could have like wrangled it down to something small. I was like, hey, we need the parking for at least a couple hours. He's like, you know what, you guys can have the parking spot all day. You guys are set. And so we had the parking spot all day. We had the parking spot all day, which I'm really grateful for, and we used it all day. Okay, we left our car there. We took our walk to Barry Park, got onto the ship and the little ferry. I mean, we got onto the ferry. Oh my god, my table's making noise. Stop it. Okay, there we go. We got onto the ferry, and then we got to Liberty Island. It was beautiful. That statue is so beautiful, and I always forget that she's holding the torch, and she's got a little tablet like on one side. I always forget that she's holding the tablet, and I wasn't so hype about taking pictures because I was vlogging, so I was more hype about like getting my shots and my videos and stuff like that, and less concerned about me being in pictures and stuff like that. Been there, done that, guys. Bought the towel, washed it. Okay, so I left. We went on to, so the first time I went to the Statue of Liberty, things were closed. Like, you couldn't get onto the pedestal, you couldn't really get to see anything, you couldn't get on the stars. So this time I was able to do those things. So that's what I meant when I said we got to do experiences we've never done before. It was freezing cold, and I gave up my best gloves, my best scarf for my sister-in-law. Like, I was like, here you go, you will not be cold. I gave her a coat, gloves, like I gave her the best, like my warmest things. And so I was freezing cold, besides the fact that I was trying to hold up a camera the entire time. So I did it to myself. Okay. So when we were there, I was like freezing cold. I'd have to like tuck my hands into my shirt and just like warm up my fingers that way. And like, we still had a good time, but then at a certain point we lost each other because I got sick and tired of them walking around taking pictures with a million times, and I separated from them, and I did a little snippet of like just a little rant saying, oh my god, because they are so similar. So one of the things they were doing is like overtaking pictures in the wrong spot. Like, one thing about me is because I like to vlog and I like to look up things and do research, you kind of get an idea of like the best spot for pictures. So I was telling them we need to go to the Star, because at the Star you'll get the most pictures. They insisted on taking pictures where everybody was, where it was crowded, and you know, you don't get the right best shots. Then you have like a lot of other tourists in your shots. When we got at the pedestal, they insisted on taking pictures on the pedestal. I'm like, this is not like where you take pictures, when you see and experience and breathe in the air and see the city from afar and just spots, like people immigrating to the United States it's my life. It's a moment, you know. It's like going to the Black History Museum. I just have such a reverence and grace for like people who came to this country as immigrants. I don't care what race, what nationality. Still, I understand that there's just like something tough about that experience. And then also for every black, brown person and their history, there's just a reverence and a deep respect. And then also like indigenous peoples, like I am an indigenous person where I'm from. Does that mean like I am indigenous to my homeland, and I experienced, like my ancestors experienced colonialism, and my parents were born in a my colonial country. So I truly have a deep respect for like that history and the scars and the trauma, and I love history too. So it was just like one of those moments. It was just like, oh, and I really want to go to that museum and just soak it all in, the preservation of history, human story, human life. I just want to go back. So I swore to myself that I'm going to go back to Ellis Island by myself, and I told my husband right there and there, I'm going to go as a solo trip. I'm not going to go with anyone, and I want to go see Ellis Island and just like soak it all in. And he was like, oh, I mean, I'm going to guess I'm going to end up by myself. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, I want to have this experience. Like, I don't mind being in the city with someone, but like, I don't want to go to Ellis Island with somebody else. And a part of me after the last like solo trip has really come to appreciate the value of being alone, especially as someone who wants to document, but also as someone who wants to just like, some things, not everything is a shared experience, right? Like some things are just like for you and your eyes and your interest only, unless you truly meet people who are just as interested as you are. But like, I want to go and read and look and just be a student of like whatever is going on there. So I'm going to go back to Ellis Island by myself for sure. There's really nothing else that I'd go back for in the city by myself. Everything else I'll go back with other people. But yeah, I enjoyed my experience. And then we had to leave. And we got back on the ferry. We skipped Ellis Island and we went to the World Trade Center, and then we actually didn't take that train. No, we didn't go to the World Trade Center. We went on like bowling something road, like train station. And that's the funny thing, is you can miss, if you don't know what the subway stop looks like, you can actually miss it. So it wasn't like a street corner, like little, you know, green thing that you just go down. It was like a little bit harder to see because it was a little bit of a bigger structure, and we actually almost missed it. We're like, oh my god, where is it? It says we're right here. And then we walked around, and then boom, we saw it. We got in, we got the trains. We got to a point where we kind of understood the GPS and what it was saying about the train stops better. Like if it gives you like two numbers, so if it says you can take 4 or 5 and then switch onto SRQ, it means you can take 4 or 5 and switch onto SR and Q. The only important thing is to make sure that when you're entering the subway, you're able to read where it says you are going.